Hello everyone! Welcome back to the channel. I am the Desert Claw, and it's time to talk about Fire Force. But before we proceed, smash that like button and subscribe for more content. And of course, for anime-only viewers, spoilers ahead. Last week I theorized that Okubo was pulling from Carl Jung and his theory on the collective unconsciousness. Sumier states as much within the first panel and references Adolla directly as the collective unconscious. The White Clad are making sure that humanity keeps its thoughts on death, as they want to bring about the destruction of the world and turn the world into a second sun. Now that we know that Adolla exists because of the unconscious desires of humanity, what is the best way to keep people in fear and wishing for death? Spontaneous human combustion. Create the narrative that it can happen to you at any time. It comes with no rhyme or reasons. You see people close to you explode and become infernals, and you feel like you are next. Just like that little girl who lost both their parents to the combustion. Now we know that infernals at this time are created by White Clad using insects, but the other side of the narrative has to be protected. If a real, concrete reason came out on how and why human combustion happens, the collective of humanity would change from despair to hope and greatly mess up the White Clad's plans. This is why they likely made sure that Shinra, the new hero and savior, was seen as a devil in the eyes of the public. If he and people like the Eighth are allowed to inspire hope, their plan literally goes up in flames. No pun intended. Now, before I move on, I once again want to highlight a piece of Japanese media that has played with the same plot point, Persona 3. And yes, I am going to spoil the ending to Persona 3. So, spoiler warning ahead. 1, 2, 3, go. In Persona 3, the game's version of the collective unconscious is called the Dark Hour. At the end of the game, a godlike being called Nyx shows up to bring about the end of humanity. Due to the feelings of people wanting death, Nyx cannot be killed, cannot be stopped. The main character sacrifices himself not to destroy Nyx, but to contain it. He acts as a literal blocker between Nyx and the negative feelings of humanity. His friends at the end know that the only way to save their friend would be to change the lives of all humanity and inspire hope instead of death. So yeah, similar theming going on here, and I'm not calling out Fire Force for having a similar theme. Okubo is using this plot point very well. Moving on, Haomeya checks in with Adolla and states that the intent is still going, and people are still wishing for death. Another pillar arises, the final pillar. But this time, the Infernal protecting it looks more like something out of Evangelion than a traditional Infernal Titan. The Titan looks like a star-like figure, almost out of a Gothic church, and has a curious star in its center. Now, where have I seen this before? The grinning moon overhead, people start to combust randomly, signifying that the Titan may have the ability to activate this without insects. The second does their best to stop this, and we get to see Father Reese do a prayer before they fight. We see the second go into battle against the new Infernals and the new Titan. The Titan will likely be defeated, but we're kind of left in a cliffhanger. Now, let me address the obvious Soul Eater references and what I think they may possibly be. First, and the least likely, Fire Force is a prequel to Soul Eater. The world will merge with Adolla, but it has two paths. One is destruction, and turns into a second sun that only people with the gift can survive in. This is the White Clad path. The second is a rebirth of the world. Just like the Tabernacle was able to revive life around it, the new world is the world of Soul Eater. This is the Shinra path, and like the Lady in Black, how she had to use her Adolla burst to revive the world around her, Shinra may have to do this himself. Now, let me get to the theory I think is more likely. Since Adolla is the collective unconscious, both the worlds of Fire Force and Soul Eater are connected to it as parallel dimensions. The reason we see so many Soul Eater references is that their collective population dream it up and pass it on to Adolla. As Adolla merges with Fire Force's world, those items become manifests. It also seems possible due to the Lady in Black and the Evangelist to travel between worlds from Adolla. It could be likely that they are from the Soul Eater world and use Adolla as a pathway to get to the Fire Force world. I don't know, just something to think about, and I would love to hear your opinion on my theory. But that, my dear manga readers, is the end of this week's chapter. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribing is free, and it's the best way to get updated on new videos after hitting the bell icon. Until next time, I am the Desert Claw. Have a good one.